Hey, Shawn Parr.
So good to see you, Patty. I
Good
love
to
you so
see
much, by the
you.
way.
You're one of my favorite people. So, Kelly and Bob were talking about you, and they said you have this incredible ability to break through the terror barrier. So, I know, and they said that in doing so, you actually created a new model for your industry. So, I'd like to have you tell us your story backwards. Tell us where you are now, and then tell us where were those barriers and how did you get through them? What did you learn in the Thinking into Results class that allowed you to crash through those barriers and move towards your goal?
And Patty, I love to hear you say crash through those barriers because there were so many that were put up. But let's start with where we are now. 30 radio stations across the country and counting.
Congratulations.
I mean, you just don't, in a pandemic, launch a new radio
yes,
company.
you do. You did.
Yes, you do. The amazing part is the insecurities. Before I started this class, before I started this amazing journey with our team, I had so many insecurities and so many people saying, you can't do that. It's just not going to happen. Then you throw a tornado in Nashville, then you throw a pandemic in Nashville, and all of a sudden, and this is just after I wasn't re-signed on my contract, but I had this concept and this idea that nobody would buy and get into. And I just knew that I believed that this would work. And I've known Bob and Kelly for a long time. And Bob, our conversation right after I didn't get my contract signed, he gave me the air in my lungs that I needed to start this journey. And then here we are 6 months later, with no radio stations, with very little money, with no team and really no direction. After just a couple of weeks of classes, being online, and I look forward to Wednesdays, and you know me, I was always early and I couldn't wait to get there.
Everybody.
I just love being there because it was such an energy boost and it was such a positive and such a light that I needed. And it gave me the courage and the understanding more of all the things that we let in and all of the negatives and changing the paradigm and directing your story and your course and making sure that you had the direction and believing that you could do it. And I tell you, after a month, I was like, chest is out, head is high, I'm ready to roll. But then I kept getting barriers. And I just kept going up against them and I wouldn't let them in. I wouldn't let the negative in. I let everything that I learned come in. Only the positives came in. And the positives created the action. And the action created the focus. And the focus just created the journey. And now here we are today, breaking those barriers. Nobody's going to tell me I can't.
Yeah.
Go ahead and say no because this guy's going to say yes. The one thing I had, and I'll be very honest, was the worry in the beginning about finances, as we all do.
Yeah.
Bob's story completely changed my thinking. My wife happened to be listening the day that Bob was telling me his story about finances. And since then, I have not let it in. And every time it starts to creep, you just change the paradigm and let it go.
So let me ask you a question on that. First of all, what an amazing story. When you say change the paradigm, don't let it get into your mind, very specific and tactically, are you telling yourself something? I mean, if you're saying you don't let it in your mind, how do you do that? Do you put something else in your mind? Do you stop and read something? I mean, what's the tactic you use to be that bold through the terror barrier?
I'm so glad you asked me that, Patty. If you remember, when I got, one of the times I spoke to the class, one of the lessons was about lifting yourself up when you start to go there. Mm-hmm. And I had a specific song that every time I sat in my studio to do my practice shows before we launched onto the network, I would play the exact same song. It was called The Champion by Carrie
Oh, cool.
Underwood and
Oh,
Ludacris.
Yeah.
And every day I played that, and it just lifted me up and put me
Wow.
right on the right path. And every time I would start to go to that dark place, and we all do,
Yeah.
you just change it. And you say, you know what? Yes, I can. Yes, I'm worthy. Yes, I will.
Mm-hmm.
And you read every single day. You write it out every single day.
Yeah.
You read what you wrote. Yesterday was this. Tomorrow is going to be this. And by the way, your goal is right there. And you look at it every day.
Do you put your goal card on your computer
It's
monitor?
right there.
You did.
I can tell you, it's every day I sit down in my studio, and that's the first thing I see every single
That's
morning.
why you're a good student. You follow the directions.
I told Kelly this, I think it was one of the last sessions we had. In the beginning, I thought, there's no way. She said something to me in the beginning when she said, I just look and think, how did I get here?
Huh.
Because I'm here. I don't remember how the struggles. I just remember the journey.
Yeah.
Now that I'm here, and what a blessing it is. The struggle and all the things that I thought I was going to have, it was there, but it was how I dealt with that and how I learned to deal with it that found me here looking at victory. And I'm running down the road. I'm not walking down the road, and I'm not hoping that this is going to happen. I'm running down the road knowing this is going to happen.
Wow.
It's an exciting time. And I never thought like that until I came in to this amazing class and to this way of thinking. And it's just changing a few things. And Bob teaches it, and Kelly teaches it, and Bob Proctor teaches it. And it's so simple if you just let yourself believe.
Yes.
It's
Isn't
exciting.
that true? Well, we all believe in you. You're doing an amazing job. And thank you for being part of the Thinking into Results team.
Patty,
you're the best.
You are such a part of that light and such a part of this team. So
Thank you.
it's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thanks.